Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Divine Love Transmission. And today I was thinking about the two sides of love, how there's a sweet side and there's a salty or a bitter side that is true of all love. I picked up this coin just to demonstrate this is a single coin. We have the head and we have what's called the tail. Both of them are different, but it's the same coin. And so that's what's in my heart today around divine love. Fortunate for us, divine love is steady and sweet. Sometimes divine love is corrective when we're out of alignment, but divine love is different from human love. Human love is flawed by design because it comes through humans. So I picked the vice versa deck today. Well, actually, I didn't pick it. I used my divining rod to pick it, to each deck on each day. And I was wondering about this one at first because sometimes the imagery is a bit stark, but so is love. Love, when it comes to us in the human packages, is tricky because sometimes the people who love us can treat us badly because of their own problems, right? So today, this particular deck, oh, this is perfect. Let me pull out our manual and let me demonstrate. Okay, so with the vice versa deck, we have two stories on one card. And so this card coming out in the shuffle at the top of the deck is a great way to demonstrate that sometimes love can leave you feeling out in the cold. Because like I said, there are flawed humans that are in relationship with us constantly. On the flip side of this card is the sign. Okay, so here we have someone on the outside looking in. They don't feel like they're connected. On the other side of the card is someone on the other side of that very window. And in the wealthier worlds where love is abundant, there are still times when there are difficult lessons to be learned. So today, as we approach this reading about the disappointment side of love and how do we feel the love of the divine going along with us in our mission to feel loved. Partly it's all about a choice that no matter what is happening in the relationships around you, you have a choice to lift your head and look for the light. So easy to see. It's right there. But we need to make the choice to pursue the divine for our daily love, more so than we choose humans. So I'm going to pick 5 cards today, as I always do on our divine love transmissions. And we're going to see what the divine has to show us in terms of finding love in the midst of difficult situations. As I picked for our thumbnail, when we have to make lemonade out of the lemons that fall through our lives. Now here we have the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands is all about fast moving energy. And this card does not have any human figures on it. And I love this for our first card from the divine, because the divine is always working around us and through us and with our circumstances to create an invitation. We always have an invitation, no matter what is happening on the given day. We have the invitation to find the divine in it. And sometimes when people disappoint us, that can be very difficult. Look at how this lightning bolt could wake you up out of a sleep, right? It could wake you up out of a dream. What is the wake-up call that we need to connect to the divine? So now we're going to flip the card and see what's pictured on the other side. This is the way the divine wants us to perceive the power of love. It's bringing in light. It's bringing in life. See how the wands all have fresh green on them. When you are involved with a loving relationship with someone, some days are going to be filled with love and light, and they will be pleasing to you. You will feel uplifted. You will feel in the heart of the divine, in the flow of what love has to bring. However, in your regular everyday human relationships, you may wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Your person, whoever you're working with, or your friend, may be having an off day because what's happening is that there's an upheaval, there's a shakeup. Remember, if you look so carefully, you can see that the greenery is still on these wands. It's just a dark time. These are the times, my friends, when love is disappointing you. It's even more important to turn your mind to what's available to us every day. Every day. All right. When we come here for our divine love transmission, I'm just going to remind you that this is not about personal readings today. Sundays are the day where I pull cards for you personally, but these are cards that I'm pulling from the divine to you. So, in a way, hi Delilah, it feels like a general reading, but that's not the truth. This is a very specific reading designed for you to absorb your share of divine love today. This is for you. If you hear my voice, this is your card. Okay, so let's move on to our second message. When it comes to understanding God's love for us, if the divine was working through me, which of course I believe the divine is, what is it that we need to see about our human relationships? Remember, the idea of human relationships started in the heart of the divine. We were not designed to live on our own planet by ourselves. We can create an environment where we push people away, but the reality is we are designed for community. So in this book, right, or excuse me, in this particular card, it's the Four of Cups, and now I'm starting to see how brilliant the universe is in drawing this deck to my attention today, because these cups are all laying empty, right? But they're empty at the side of the ocean. So this card would indicate that even when you have a close relationship, friendship, employee employer relationship, colleagues, what are your best connections right now? Okay, some people will be mostly connected to their pet. No kidding. And it's easy. Pets are easy to love, aren't they? The other day, Murphy barked his way through one of these little readings, and I needed to be so patient with him. But sometimes pets can draw out of us our most tender side. But the Four of Cups is an opportunity card. Can you see the ship in the distance? And also, we have this yellowish tinge in the sky, which is that reminder of when life throws you lemons. Our choice is to make lemonade with spirit and make something good out of it. This could also indicate that someone has moved away from you. Maybe you had a really good friend or someone you knew from across the sea, and suddenly that's emptied. There's nothing there for you. But it doesn't take that much effort to turn these cups over and refill them, right? Let's take a look at the other side of the card and see what the message is. All right, excellent. So when things fall apart or when we are not pleased because what we hoped would happen is not happening, okay? So as we look at the figure who's entered into our story right now, the figure is leaning on the tree and looking at these cups that have emptied. So this what the divine wants for you to know, my friend, that if you do lose a certain relationship that makes you feel sour towards love, right? Because someone disappointed you. The truth is that we have this light available to us right now. Yes, some things have become boring, some things are not fulfilling the way you thought it might. However, we always have the invitation from the divine to turn and look at the light. No human can ever love you as much as the divine does. And there are countless opportunities for us to re enter and treasure the people and the circumstances that are in your life right now, to see the opportunity in loss. It's hard, isn't it? Life is very bitter sometimes. And have you heard the term bittersweet? Where in the bitterest of opportunities, there's a bit of sweetness. So, my friend, if you have just gone through a breakup, it could be that something ended that was not really exciting for you anymore, that there's actually some boredom going on in a previous connection, and one of you needed to have the courage to move on. And it's positive for both of you. Remember, a loss is an opportunity. It is in the times when we feel the most vulnerable, when we feel the most lonely, that the universe is even more loudly knocking on your inner door. Come to me, and I will fulfill you. Remember, a little bit of boredom can be guiding you into a place of seeking a deeper connection. Start with your divine connection first, and you will be equipped. Excuse me, let me grab this. You will be equipped to do what it is that is here for you on the planet when it comes to love. Okay. All right, let's take a look at what we have here. Let's flip our card. You can, all right, can you see? This is so good. All right, so what we're seeing here is writing right on the energy of the last card. All right, writing on the energy of the last card. When this card shows up, what we're seeing here is someone who has their back turned. Can you see the top of the head? So our figure here has turned away from what has been troubling. If you take a look here, this looks like a skull that's in the bottom corner of our picture here. So the difficult times when something has not worked out and somebody has disappointed you, there is loss, and being able to allow the dead to take care of themselves, right? When you have a loss in your past, when a relationship has disappointed you deeply, you are the only one who can choose to turn away and stop looking at what is no longer serving you. These flowers at the back of this throne and all of the greenery shows that once you turn away and you look out into your future, and again, the divine is there with open arms. The divine is always calling you forward to understand more deeply how very dear you are, my dear viewer, that the divine cares for you so deeply. Meditation is a tool that I've been using for a little over a year, where I'm going into silence. I used to enjoy the spoken word in meditations. I enjoy being guided, and I still do that. But I'm finding that the 15 minutes a day that I can sit quietly and just contemplate and consider who I am right now as a breathing apparatus, and to be able to develop the gratitude for my breath. Honestly, it's the only thing that matters, because once you stop breathing, you cross over into a new existence. So when we bring our desire for love down to the basics and the gratitude of the breath, we can really start to move the needle on our human relationships. Humans are sour and bitter. I'm sorry. It's impossible to have a human relationship without having sourness and bitterness as part of it. It's just life. Let's take a look at the other side of this card and see what is happening here. Isn't it beautiful? What a beautiful depiction of taking that time to settle in with the divine and let things go. Develop your confidence. Who are you as a human? You will only know for sure when you accept the divine part of you. When humans disappoint you, it's a sign that we're too focused on the humans and that we can turn ourselves on, tune in to the divine love that is here for us. The Empress card is one of my favorite cards. It just gives us that indication of 100% confidence on her creator. She's resting in this chair, and look again what is behind her. We don't know what's going on between her and the divine. We see nothing here, just some clues about releasing past disappointments and letting them stay in the past. Because when it's time, when you are ready, when you are like a sponge soaked in who you are as a created being of the divine, that's when the right people, the right circumstances are so attracted to your life. This little wand that she's holding, she's ready to create the magic. Okay, so be sure to keep in your heart when you have a disappointment with a human, instead of flying off the handle, falling into a depression and getting all upset about it, you want to allow it to be an invitation. Even though I don't know how, I want to use this situation right now. Even though I don't know how, I want to leverage this bitter experience right now. Even though I don't know how, I want the love of God to flow into my life right now. Yes, absolutely, Ria. Welcome. This is my daily divine love transmission, and today we are looking at the relationships in our human life that can separate us from love when that's not what we want at all. We want to be connected by love, and it's my theory that it is that divine nature of love, the true love from our Creator, that can create a magnetism within us where we can't help but be in the right place at the right time to meet the right people for us rather than people that can hurt our hearts. This is our fourth card here. And we have the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands announces a very magnetic energy. Okay. When the Knight of Wands energy comes to us, we can't help but be attracted to that person. Many times, the charisma, the natural charisma of certain humans can sweep us off our feet. Have you ever had that happen where you get a deep crush on someone? You feel so strongly that this is your person. There's something about this approach, this sense of passion that you get swept away with. So what can go wrong, right? The only thing that can go wrong when you meet someone of deep charisma is if you lose track and focus your needs and your desires onto this person, because it's always Source who loves you more. It's always the Creator who loves you more than any other person. I used to have a game I would play with my kids when they were little, and I would say, I love you. And they would say back to me, I love you more. And I would say back to them, no, I love you more. And the child would say, no, I love you more. And we would giggle and laugh about it. This is the reminder of this card, that no matter how a human seems to love you, remember the divine is whispering in your ear, I love you more. I love you more than any human. Let's flip this card and see what's on the other side. Yes, this is why. this, oh, I'm so grateful. Sometimes when I use my divining rod to pick the cards for the reading, and sometimes they pick cards I wouldn't have picked. I have a wonderful collection. But this card alone explains to me why this was picked. Because no matter how wonderful a human appears to us, and the more charismatic, the more we have to guard our heart. That's not negatory, it's simply the truth. Sometimes people, how can I say, they rely on their charisma and they have not done the work of seeking the divine. And so people can fall for this person because they're so attractive, but when divine love is not at the heart of anyone, they will eventually leave your situation. You deserve a partner who has a connection with the divine. You would not be on this reading right now if you didn't have faith that the divine is bringing you someone that's an ideal partner. And many times we end up with people that were never meant to be happily ever afters. These are people who can pull us into relationship, but it's supposed to end. Not every loving relationship that you have in your lifetime is meant for forever. That old lesson that some people are in your life for a season, some for a reason, and some forever. This card indicates that some humans that came into your life were not forever, but your small view of them made it seem like, oh yeah, no, this is my man, or this is my woman, I'm keeping them forever. All right? So, in this, the universe is calling you to the divine lemonade message for sure that your life, you have choices with love. Sometimes it'll start out great and it'll fizzle out. Other times there will be hurt feelings. These are the lemons of love, the disappointments and the heartbreaks, especially from the age of 13 to 23. Between 13 and 23, we have so many opportunities for heartbreak. It's up to us to surge forward into divine connection. The more you rely on humans as your only source of love, the more likely that your relationship with love will be sour or bitter. Hi, Madhu. Hi, everyone. I am so glad you're here. I do answer personal cards like what you're asking. Can I tell about your life? Absolutely. Come back on Sunday. Today, these readings are about God's message to you, not so much about you reaching out and feeling like you can get your personal answer today, because on these divine love transmissions, the purpose is for you to feel that God cares for you. And if you're listening to my voice, there's no accident. This is your reading. This is the fifth card. Every day I draw 5 different cards to help my followers understand how loved they are. So please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, come to the channel. It's like a little radio broadcast out there for people to plug in and realize how very loved you are. Here we have our Seven of Wands, and I'm so grateful for this card because this is the symbol of the divine's love for as I look at it, because our soul connected to the divine, the spiritual reality of who you are a spirit being having a human experience. That is who you are. When you rely on the divine to be your defender, if you've been hurt, again, these lemonade readings today are all about having hurt feelings from the past. I have plenty of opportunity. I'm 72. And I have had countless opportunities to see how human beings are flawed, where they're so wrapped up in their own journey, they're so wrapped up in their own problems, they don't give a rat's ass about Catherine. And that's okay. It's taken me so many years to take my eyes off of humans as providers of love, that they're conductors of love, that love comes through the divine, through a human to me, but God is the author of love, and God will take care of our needs. Excuse me, I have to take a sip of my tea. sorry, whenever my voice kind of blinks out on me, I always have an assurance that somebody listening to me right now is having trouble speaking their truth. When you are in a struggle to recognize your truth and to speak it clearly, it can be very confusing. The more you depend on the divine to be your provider of love, the more likely you will be attracting the best in other humans. We all can be sour or sweet. When you are centered on receiving God's love, you will be attracting more of the sweet side of humans. This is something I see in my life all the time. All right. I see that when I get upset and I feel the sourness and disappointment, the quicker I can turn it around and allow it to flow around me, the faster I feel reconnected. Let's take a peek at the other side of this card. Okay, thank you. So I'm so grateful I picked this card because this to me is the exact heart of today's divine love transmission. Remember, I'm here every day, just a brief little 30-minute reading, hopefully a little shorter, with 5 distinct messages from the divine to soothe you in your search for love. This is a figure who's not connected to the divine, right? This is the darkness that we go through when we don't realize that human love is flawed. There's no human on the planet who has the capability to love perfectly. And yet, how often we rob ourselves of the joy of love through nature, through music, through art, because we are so fixated that it must be a human. I'm sure there's a human who could love me perfectly, and I'm telling you, that will never happen. It is only the divine who carries this spirit of love that wants to be our defender, that wants to protect us. And there are no questions today, Sadika. You need to come back on Sunday. That's when I answer questions. These readings are for you to receive. There's no one that's hearing my voice right now that doesn't need a hug from the divine. That's what these readings are about, okay? So, as I wrap you up in my heart and hold you, and if there was a way I could hug each and every one of you, I would. Go forward today and shower love on strangers. You don't need to tell them you love them. You can just think it. I'm not kidding. Just as you see a stranger, think in your mind, I love you the way God loves you. All right? Now, our affirmation to close. Even though I don't know how, I'm feeling God's love more right now. Even though I don't know how, I'm learning to trust the heart of God right now. Even though I don't know how, I'm choosing to develop my relationship with divine love right now. Yes, Maureen, oh gosh, working on Sundays. I know that could be tricky, but when you come to the divine love transmissions, you are receiving direct messages for you. So please keep coming back. All right? I love you guys. Thank you for visiting me today. Me and Murphy are about to take a walk on a beautiful sunny day. And remember, animals and nature are the easiest ways to recognize God's love surrounding you every day. Thank you so much for being with me, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Go be blessed, my friends.